instead of doing anything interesting to outplay the actual carry potential of this hold, we're gonna brute force our way. We're gonna jump on the minivan and just plow it down Main Street. Is this really what we're gonna do? Hey team, Coach Tickety here. This is a VOD of my analysis of the match between the Atlanta Reign and the Philadelphia Fusion in the Midseason Madness tournament. This match marked the last showing of any APAC team in this tournament and guaranteed an all NA finals once again after Atlanta took the win. So is NA just the best region this year? Check out my review and decide for yourselves. If you like this kind of stuff, make sure to subscribe and like the video, and I'll keep putting them out. And go check out the Questline Esports channel as well, where myself and the Questline team are doing all kinds of Overwatch content. Link in the description. That's all for me. Enjoy the video. So Philly, what do you know? Also very dive favored. They love the Ashe over in APAC, by the way. MN3 is an absolute beast at the Ashe as well. Hawk going for the Doomfist again here. So dive comp matchup. Let's look at the actual, I'm guessing both Zest and Venom are going Tracer. I mean, Venom is a Tracer player. Zest plays a lot of stuff, but I'm guessing it's going to be the Tracer here. Yeah, okay, so. What is this? Okay, so all-in dive versus neutral dive, we're going to call it. Sojourn better at going all-in. Moira Lucio better at going all-in. Better in neutral, better in neutral, better in neutral. So for those reasons alone, for the hero picks alone, Hawk needs to find a ton of value that needs to be followed up almost instantly by Kai, and they've got the stability added with faster engages from the speed, more AoE healing, more defensive cooldowns from Ultraviolet, as well as fast ultimate charge, faster than Trance at least, faster than Rally as well, to be able to find that reason to go in more consistently with Coalescence, and of course speed boost. So lots of reasons to go in for Atlanta from their heroes alone. It's going to be up to Bellis Rhea to be able to read those situations, cause enough disruption to stop them from going all in whenever they want, and then MN3 and Aim God finding enough value in neutral to make sure that they can bleed them out fast enough before Bellis Rhea gets kicked out and lets them dive in. Let's see what that looks like on Control Center. Not your average dive map.
Look at how quickly Bellis Rhea already made it to point. Even with the
yeah, touching point doesn't matter for the next 15 seconds though, so that's okay. Yeah, this is stupid as fuck from Philly. Like, there's no reason to just roll out to point ever if you're Wrecking Ball. Like, there's literally zero reason. The point still hasn't unlocked. This is the stupidest rollout I've ever seen. I'm sorry, Bellis Rhea. There's no reason other than scouting potential, which you would get more information if you went outside. Or even like if you went deeper into their spawn. So one, made no sense, got kicked out, walked out main. Also makes no sense, go this way, hold more space, go to Megas, go do whatever you want as Wrecking Ball. Two, like again, like the point hasn't unlocked. Three, there's no reason for Zest to be here ever. Like, unless you're going for like the earliest two-man dive ever known, and it wouldn't be a two-man dive because you'd be going into 5 people, they're still like rolling out over here. Unless you're trying to like find someone like a Zen who's rotating solo this quickly, there's just no reason for these positions. And again, Zest just falls back from the high ground onto the point, completely opening up all of Atlanta's position. This is a really poorly planned rollout from Fusion. I think this is the map they didn't want on Lijiang, but this was Atlanta's pick, actually. So I don't agree with any of those positions, and now they're just they're begging to be engaged on. Hawk does go down in response there. He went pretty far. He had to commit both cooldowns to get across. But I think you take that kill. Hawk will be back sooner. And MN3 is coming back on the Sombra now. Speaking of coming back sooner, Bellis Rhea might be going down here. Yeah, goodbye. Point still hasn't unlocked. MN3 coming back on the Sombra now. Stick onto Doom. Okay, kills the... I thought that was onto Doom, but apparently kills OG. But yeah, this is absolutely fine for Atlanta. I can't get over that rollout. I just don't understand it. So to me, Reiner had some weak moments, but I felt the biggest problem was Patty. When he struggles, he disappears from the game, uninstalls, leaves the building, and takes a nap. Probably true, and would be pretty disheartening to see your teammate do that mid-set. But yeah, I don't know. I saw Patty performing relatively well. It's hard to like, I don't like pinning like blame on any individual members. I would say in general though, like the ult economy game from Glads from the last set, it was just like they were too optimistic. That was a big deciding factor in a lot of their commitments, and I wasn't a fan of it. That was the biggest thing I would point out though in terms of macro. Eager play from Venom there. Hawk gets hacked and burned down. Zest traded out though. This is okay for Atlanta. Kai is still up. Kai is still looking for opportunities. Kai is still surviving pressure from the Wrecking Ball. Coalescence matched with Trance. So this is atypical for Moira to build Coalescence as slowly as a Zen Trance, especially after winning first fight. You'd think they'd be able to heal up and throw some damage orbs early during Fusion's retake to build that sooner, but not seeing it from Ultraviolet. Going hyper aggressive with the beat doubling down. This is a Gladiators or Shock type of fight from what we saw last fight on Ilios. A lot of just like doubling down with ultimate pressure and the enemy team not being able to respond to it. We saw this with a lot of nanos onto Reiner. We saw this with a lot of doubling down with nanos or primals or whatever it was from Shock. I'm trying to remember specific instances now. I'm only remembering the one from Ilios. My view is a team thing. Patty is a good player. I mean, everyone in the Overwatch League is a good player. I think we can all agree on that. These are also pretty good players, pretty good gamers. So whenever I'm criticizing stuff, I'm always going to be criticizing macro and team play more than individual decisions. There's so many things that can come up for an individual. Like, unless they're just like feeding their brains out or like constantly missing opportunities, it's hard to blame individuals, in my opinion at least. Venom finding another early pick here. Stuck onto Doomfist. He's gonna walk that one off, though, with a nice heal from Ultraviolet. This is what we're more used to. So these people both committed ults at the same time, and Ultraviolet's double his ult charge. That's what should happen in this matchup. I don't know what Philly's plan here is. I haven't seen them regroup once during, like, this whole extended team fight, which, granted, they're playing the composition that doesn't need to team fight. But, like, you'd expect there to be some, like, ebb and flow respect to Kai's position, to Ultraviolet and Hawk's position. Hawk's been dying a lot on the Doomfist. And I think he's playing a little more proactively than he's used to because he's going up against a ball. He's used to, at least traditionally this season up until this point, we're used to seeing more Winston and Doom mirrors. And Hawk's played a more reactive defensive Doom style than most. Venom finding another stick, this time just forcing the trance. Nice beat, but it doesn't save Kai. That should be a kill, though. Okay, aim guy goes down. Yeah, Atlanta are just going in. This match is so much more fun than the last one. This is chaos. Hawk surviving the hack this time. Good. He's learning. Not as many Sombra players in the West side, I think. What is that? Re-engage? You've lost the point. You're 1 HP. You're down a man. He was banking on getting the Mega, I guess, but, like, you're not the ones running Sombra, my guy. That's not hacked in your favor. Maybe he knew he was dead and he was just trying to get some damage? I don't know. Did you have the feeling that D.Va worked on Ike? I felt super weak to me. It's definitely weak versus the Zarya. I think it was a good counterpick to the Hog on Oasis, and it was a good counterpick to a traditional dive comp that I expected Glads to play more of. But because they ran the Zarya, it didn't really find much value. I think it actually did decent on attack, which I didn't expect it to, but again, just by playing slow and playing the objective, not by doing anything proactively. Kai is just killing everyone. That's one way to win a point. The fact that, like, Kai got that many shots off without Bellis Rhea on him, like, shows to me that they should be playing Winston. I don't know. We'll chalk this one up to the map for Philly. If they're really good at this style and they feel like they can run it anywhere, this would be like the utmost test of that statement. This is such an impossible map to run an effective multi-threat dive comp because your options are so limited. It'd be like, I guess the harder Koth map would be like Ilios Ruins, which we saw earlier even. So it's just so hard to warrant that those picks. That rollout still gets me because that's what got everything going for Atlanta. And yeah, I think Atlanta are smart in the way they're playing this matchup, but I don't think they'll be able to play this effectively against a normal dive against like what Shock or Gladiators were running. I feel like they didn't have a good plan going in. They worked well with Astro and they were not prepared when they were heading to dive without Astro. Could be, yeah, it could be the shot calling from Astro is a big factor for them as well. Really hard to say without comms, obviously, or knowing the team structure, but possibility.
Back and see how many people that got. Normally hit the EMP and then look at the other team's health bars. I'm like, oh wait, there's no hack symbols.
All right, now we're on a ball map. This is probably the best map of the three for the Wrecking Ball comp. And again, they're playing for that sort of multi-threat setup. Look how split from each other they're going to set up. Echo's going to take the coast. Wrecking Ball's going to take enemy spawn. Tracer's trying to get some space for their Zen to cross. Oh, that's a nice boop. I thought he killed both of them, to be honest. Oh, he's hungry for it. OG's looking. So, the thing about this composition... Oh, come on, Philly. The thing about this composition is that these three heroes should never die. And it's kind of like the pressure release situation I was talking about on... I forget what map I was talking about it. But when one individual is getting pressured here... So the strength of this composition is that these four individual threats don't rely on others to be able to be relevant threats. Echo doesn't need Wrecking Ball to go in the same way Kai needs Hawk to go in. Tracer doesn't need anyone. Tracer never needs anyone, let's be honest. Even Aim God has the range and Discord priority to be able to threaten from almost anywhere, not from their spawn. But as long as there's a modicum of space, even just enough to get a Discord out, that's considered value for Aim God. And when any one of these three gets kicked out, if Tracer gets focused, if Echo gets focused, if Ball gets focused, hopefully Zen doesn't get focused, but if Zen gets focused, that's what Brig exists for. But if any one of these three get kicked out, then the other three can push in. So let's imagine Bellis Rhea gets kicked out. That means more time for Zest, MN3, and Aim God to do damage. In this case, Zest is getting kicked out. And instead of other people wrapping the map and finding a reason to force Fade or force cooldowns from Hawk or get a good Discord, they're collapsing onto Atlanta's position, who want this to happen. They want to fight in here. They're ready to fight in here. They're starting to fight in here, and you're late catching up as Tracer. And then I don't even know where Wrecking Ball is during all of this time. He's on point, because of course, why would he go into that? And Zest is dying off the map. There's no... Like, Zest can't die in neutral as this composition. Like, that's the whole point. And it's either he mismanaged his shift cooldown, or he thought he had more priority, or he thought they were actually going to fight in there. All of which don't make sense.
Okay, well, look at that. You know, OG gets to go a bit of a...
The good news is, if you're Fusion, like I said, you don't need each other to find value, so there's still three very important threats to keep track of during all that chaos, even after killing Zest. But it does mean Atlanta get priority over the point, and it does mean Kai gets a little comfortable for a few seconds to charging railguns. Zest equalizing for Aim God and fixes death. MN3 equalizing as well. This is a good look for them. The problem is the point's not in their favor, and this is a notoriously hard point to flip and an easy point to recontest and reinforce onto because of the windows. Nice little stick. Means Bellis Rhea needs to leave. There's no more staying power on the point. This means Atlantis gets to keep the point. They're even going to kill Bellis Rhea, aren't they? No, they're not. Not quite. That's a really good timing for that mini to respawn. Yeah, if anyone in this composition on Fusion's team is dying early, it needs to be Bellis Rhea, because he's going to buy the most time while he's dying. That's a nice pick. Holy shit. How often do you see that? Just sticky bombs alone killing a target. Kai equalizes onto Zest though, and now we got the Coalescence going, and they can just stay aggressive for way longer than Philly can stabilize for. Hawk buys some time with his ultimate as well. So the difference here, when Atlanta lost Venom, everyone had to unite and be a united front, and they had to use two ultimates to stabilize from that position. If Phillies loses Zest, everyone else looks for individual plays. Maybe at most like 2v1ing or like 2v1ing in the form of like focusing a Discord target kind of thing. But in this case, when Atlanta goes down one, they need to stack their resources and overwhelm, in this case with Coalescence and Doomult. But in this case, like, again, if Bellisrea goes down, if Zest goes down, if MM3 goes down, the other 3 just play their lives, play for individual value, and try to milk all the time and attention that was spent killing one of these 3 people for as much as it's worth. If you can equalize in that situation, if Zest goes down but you kill Venom, that's extremely strong for you because it means you can do it again. And you've got more members that can do that again than Atlanta Reign do. Sojourn can't really do that. Doomfist, when he kicks out, can't really do what Wrecking Ball can do, right? Ultraviolet obviously doesn't bring the same punch that Aim God does. You've got more threats on the table, so it doesn't matter if you have to discard cards from your hand, you've still got Pot of Greed, and you're still ready to draw 2 more threats onto the battlefield, right? So always looking to take trades, always looking to be relevant is really important for Fusion's camp, but for Reign's camp, being able to stabilize and coordinate in that high intensity situation after losing your Tracer, equally important. Really good to see them pull that off.
4 ultimates coming alive for Fusion.
But a sound barrier for
And now we're going into last fight situation. Philly is yet to touch, or yet to flip the point, I should say. Kai looking to build a railgun, maybe start off with a lucky pick. MN3 being forced to touch is not good, unfortunately. Touches very early. Baiting a punch, maybe?
Start off the fight. The rally is going to match on the Fusion. Oh, he's lining up. Kai gets one.
Yeah.
Stepping up.
How do you mitigate multiple threats? You bait their attention and waste their time without putting your attention into them. They baited their attention onto the point because 99%, and instead they put all of their resources all the way in here and landed. Hawk's going to die for it, unfortunately, but it does mean that the other threats, in this case the Tracer and the Wrecking Ball, were busy doing something else. So they should kill Brig and Zen here if the rally isn't enough. Actually, the rally might be enough. I'm just noticing Kai doesn't really have a good angle here. Oh, and he's stuck. Goodbye. So I like the planning there from Reign. Unfortunately, the distance they were trying to close was just a little bit too much. If they were only committing into White Room there, that probably would have been fine. But I think Aim God and Fix's position was really smart. They stayed like an extra step behind, knowing that their play was to touch the point and try to flip it rather than commit to a chaotic team fight. And it paid off. They read Reign there a little bit, I think. Oh, Aim God just finding one. Copy for Zest. This is looking pretty good, but nowhere to go. They'll take a team fight win, though. Trance coming up for Aim God now is going to be really important. It means they can, at the very least, stabilize the next fight. The next ultimate fight, they shouldn't need it for non-ultimates, but for Coalescence or for Hawk's ultimate, they'll probably need that Transcendence. Oh, don't get it forced out. Oh, Zest goes down, but it's okay. Again, still lots of threats. Bellisrea now coming online. Trance to stabilize, keep going aggressive. Venom gets one, but goes down himself. Yeah, Trey's always going to work out in Philly's favor, but also going to work out in whoever holds the points favor, which is Philly twice now. So they're looking pretty right now. If MN3 hits a nice pulse bomb, you could just win the map off of it. Coalescence, stick the Moira, stick the Moira. Oh, never mind. Hack the Moira. Goodbye. This is looking really good for Fusion. Oh, but the ultimate and the pressure from Venom and Hawk might be enough. Aim God being the only threat is your least advantageous threat to keep alive because he's a lot easily red, kited, and jumped on. A lot more easily, I should say. Nice response onto the Sombra to get him out of the way. This is like... Wait, how did MN3 die? So as they're going back... Oh, he recalls over the pit. That's a tragedy. He must have like double blinked past the gap to get there from spawn. And it was definitely worth it. But then he recalls over the pit. That's a tragedy with no blinks. This is typically like a nightmare situation for Reign, like a fight lasting this long and their threats being split up. Like you see Hawk solo focusing Bellisrea here. That's not what he wants to be doing for his team. But because of MN3 jumping off the map there and the ultimate pressure from Reign being the last thing that impacted this fight, I guess there's mines now on point and there's a rally going, but those aren't like hindering Atlanta Reign's play too much. I think they're actually in a really good position to win this one. Oh, if Brig goes down especially, but Brig's going to stay alive with some nice healing from Aim God. Bellisrea should go down though. Or not. Okay. Still Fusion's point too, so they can take this a little bit slower than otherwise. Beat from range, trying to go all in with it. Philly kiting it out and hitting him from the back. Nice timing, but Venom is too good. They needed to kill Kai during that moment, and they couldn't. That was not bad. Obviously, Philly's comp looked way better on that map. I'm not a huge fan of the Sombra pick. I think they would have done fine with the Ashe. Maybe because, like, the sight lanes are a little awkward on that map for Ashe. Like, the crossfire angles from, like, here to here are a little bit longer than you'd like. You're not really able to hit dynamites, and then, like, being forced to peek around these like close corners is a little bit closer than you'd like. So it's kind of like a bad mix where, like, for these ranges you'd want something like Widow, but then for like these ranges you'd want something like Cassidy or Soldier, which Ashe kind of feels like a little bit gross on both sides of that. Sojourn's kind of okay because Sojourn kind of plays like Tracer sometimes, so you can use these ranges just for spam to get a railgun. You can use the railgun to try and find picks, but then when a fight breaks out you can reposition, go wherever you want, and play for scrappy fights and things like that. For the most part, though, this was Rain finding really good team fights, really good reasons to go all in together and capitalizing quickly on their advantage windows. And Philly giving up too many advantages, straight up. Too many individual deaths, too many lack of follow-ups when one of their teammates died, kind of thing. Oh, that's a little bit too far. All right, we're going to King's Row. Philly's map choice. They're playing Sigma. They're playing Sigma Ashe Tracer. So this is like a budget version of the Circle Royale composition, but more flexible in the DPS line to cover more space and to work more flexible angles. You don't need to hard hold really long one-shot angles as Ashe. You can hold mid-range more effectively. You can hold tighter chokes more effectively with your dynamite, things like that. And you've got a mild form of CC to keep yourself alive from those closer range engages as well. And more of a dive comp coming in from Atlanta. So Hawk looking to break through the door. He might even swap onto Doomfist in the Sigma matchup, and Kai might even go Sojourn here. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's so true though. And
TP for Venom before he goes Tracer to get OG in position there. OG on his signature hero Zenyatta. I don't see how Fusion win a fight. I'm gonna be honest. Cause like, if Sigma holds too close, he gets farmed at range from Kai and OG, which MN3 shouldn't be able to respond to unless MN3 is playing with the Sigma, which is also very dangerous because if he's playing with the Sigma, then Hawk just dives the Sigma. But yeah, you see the range he's playing in. Can't do shit about Kai at that range. Also, Kai can just farm this and then duel him at range. OG can charge a right click and duel him at range. The Tracers will be dueling each other around statue here or looking to counter dive potentially the high ground, but I doubt Fusion want to actually commit to the high ground. I think if Atlanta start committing high ground this way, start rotating Kai and OG that way, for example, then they just rotate and counter rotate here and play for their Tracer damage and try to push all in, maybe even with their Sigma collapsing around statue. But I don't see a reason for Sig in this composition in this space. Looking for that headshot. Yeah, Hawk can just like soft dive that corner on repeat while Kai and OG and Ultraviolet take angles. And eventually they're going to have more range damage to deal with that angle because MN3 can't really hold anywhere. Even with the Sigma there. Nice little body block. Oh, but it's not going to kill the Sigma. There was no one. Where's Atlanta? This is gorgeous. Denying healing angles, denying damage follow-up, body blocking the Sigma in. Play of the game, except there's no Tracer and we don't see Kai. And we also don't see like a Zen on the far angle hitting this. If Zen's here, if Kai's here, Sojourn, and if Tracer's here, like hitting up on the flank, that Sigma's dead 100 times. But look at the damage he's taking. It's literally just Winston zaps. He's not even discorded. Even if he had his shield up, like you'd have him enough damage to break that shield, or you wait for him to deploy his shield, then you jump behind him, expecting him to drop the shield, or you at least like start poking the shield and have him drop it, and then you jump him while he hopes it's regenerating. That looked like poor timing from Hawk's part, unfortunately, but like it could have been so good. There was so much value being found there, it just wasn't capitalized on it. What's up, Sharp? We're still going. We're doing another match We're going to try and predict how the grand finals will turn out based on these 2 matches leading up to them. Or at least we're going to try to. I might lose my voice before that happens.
I like that. That's smart from the range. You just want to make sure that the fusion comes
Sigma? You just made, like, the best Winston play you could have ever made, and your team didn't follow you up, so now we're swapping the tank? I heavily disagree with this. I think this is so farmable. It's not as farmable because M3 is playing Ashe instead of Sojourn, so this should still favor Rain compositionally, I think. Oh, but I don't think this is necessary.
initiate there was going to always be very difficult. Yep. Crunch.
Wasn't even looking at him, by the way. Goes back blown out like a glow stick.
I mean, Zest was there for no reason, so he dies.
On the point. Bellatrix is the one
A couple times now we've seen Bellisria and Zest in positions that I don't agree with.
So that's how
Oh
it
my
feels.
goodness.
By the way, 1 year of subbing. Here's to another. Smiley face.
Happy anniversary, Sharp. Thank you for the resub. Appreciate your ongoing love and support. Massive pick from Zest here in the back line. With the triple eventually. So that's what Zest does 10 times out of 10 whenever this is uncontested and whenever they're trying to force point, is like he works his way around, either through or around because he's Tracer, and then you leverage this to force kick people off point and snowball into the back line. All you have to do if you're Atlanta is like play this angle. I don't know why they're not doing it. I don't know why OG died like to a Tracer in this map ever.
Whoa, yeah, that double came out
Oh
of
my
that's how it
god.
feels.
The hype train.
Not look like they
The hype train conductor himself, Rapier Man with the 10 gifted. Thank you. I think that's like the second time this week,
that's
and I've
how
only
it
streamed
feels.
twice this week. You're insane. Yeah, there's no reason for this angle. There's literally no reason for this angle ever, not once, and I don't understand why we're being so lazy about it.
So that's how it feels.
My lord, you're right, Sharp. Thank you, Rapier Man, so much. The hype train cometh.
So that's how it
The
feels.
conductor is here. Thank you, man. Appreciate it, Rapier Man, as always. Much love.
So that's how it feels.
As the point's gonna get capped if they're not.
Who was here? What map were we reviewing?
So that's how it feels.
I think it was Atlanta. But we were reviewing a map, it was Kings Row, and like one team got like 2
so
picks or
that's how it
something, and
feels.
instead of like snowballing high ground and using their angles, they all just like fell onto the point. Or no, what they did was someone got like slept up
so
here,
that's how it feels.
and they went to like all in instead of develop space, and then they didn't win the all in, and they fell back and they got owned. Who was that? I want to say it was Atlanta.
So that's how it feels.
Look at this team fight. We're gonna go all the way back. Look at this team fight develop. Atlanta starts.
So that's how
It was Atlanta versus Philly on Kings Row. Well, that's this one. But there was another team fight a while ago that we were reviewing, and I want to say it was Atlanta, but I'm not 100%. How do you develop this team fight to ensure maximum success? Let's take a look. So how does it open? For whatever reason, it opens with a Tracer duel on point that goes the favor of Atlanta Reign. And in response to that duel, they use a window. How do we respond to this? We give up space, and we go back in when we know we have resource advantage. Is this what resource advantage looks like? Is it really? Is this how we want to take this fight? We want to barge our way into a Baptiste window, into crossfire angles from Zen and Ashe, into their tank player with a nano on Sigma, instead of doing anything interesting to outplay the actual carry potential of this hold. We're going to brute force our way. We're going to jump on the minivan and just plow it down Main Street. Is this really what we're going to do? And what sucks is I know this is going to work because Philly, I don't know what they're doing because I see Ashe rotating over here.
As the point's going to get capped if they're not careful. The Philadelphia Fusion need to do something. A pulse bomb to delete the lamp.
Fuck you, Tickety.
The rest of the team.
MN3 drops to point while Zen is running away after rotating through the window, after like Baptiste uses his lamp, and after they gave up payload progress, point progress, without even contesting while still taking maximum damage as Bellisria. I'm disappointed, Philly. You've got some of the craziest talent this season has seen, and this is what you're doing with it. This is incredibly disappointing that Atlanta literally caps this point because they hit W, and Philly like decided, okay, we don't want to play the game anymore. I don't understand like why you didn't just shoot them. Like there were, it makes no sense, dude. I actually don't understand what's going on here. You were 2% away from a trance. You don't keep Zen up here for the crossfire. Like, Kai wasn't even doing anything this fight. Kai wasn't threatening anyone. Kai eventually kills the Baptiste up here. I don't know if he went this way or this way, but like there's nothing threatening you up here. And instead of just using this angle while Hawk runs it down main and the rest of his team runs it down main, is one of you rotates like this and just to touch the point, and the other one rotates like this and dips out before trance. You had so many options to win this fight, and you just chose not to. I don't get it. I really don't get it. Atlanta didn't deserve to win that fight, but Philly gifted it to them. Keep in mind this is Philly's map choice, by the way.
Well, especially when you have this more point presence-oriented composition as well. You're really not looking to try to make a huge hero play going into the back line.
Picks is swapping out to the Ana off of the Baptiste, which means Baptiste was a first point pick. I think the lamp is big enough reason to warrant Baptiste on first point. Covers a lot of gray areas of advantage. But Nano Boost may be a better ultimate for this composition, I'm guessing.
I don't know where I was going with that, but
As well as Nade, obviously being a pretty good ability.
there you go.
Do people know how to win? Apparently not, man.
I love plants. I study fish plants
A big problem for a lot of teams at high level is they know how to win, but they don't know how to recognize when it's right to win in-game, which is like Overwatch in a nutshell, right? Knowing when situational advantages occur. Trance and Flux committed here from Fusion to help them hold, and they will do so. Don't need to get crazy here, no need for a spawn camp. You know, it'd be sick to see OG and Hawk swap to like Ryan Lucio right now. I think that'd be sick.
As well as the fact that they've got the pulse bomb available, they get to just control so much space. I'm expecting MN3 to throw that into the middle of the range, disrupt them, and then someone's gonna get picked off by Zest in the back.
There is Mr. Bob.
I don't know why Nano Sigma is such a popular thing for Atlanta here. It's not like he can like take advantage of it like a Rhine can and go aggressive, or even like a Winston, Doomfist, any aggressive tank. And the only team you want to nano defensively, your tank player, whether it's like a Rhine or a Sigma or a Zarya or whatever, is when, again, you know there's multiple people in range to take that damage. So, like, they'd be committing here. Or you know, like, it's needed defensively. So this Bob goes in, which is countered by a Sleep Dart, by the way. And then this Nano
Never mind.
doesn't really find anything. Like, how much ult charge did Hawk get during this Nano? Let's take a look.
Picked off by Zest in the back.
There is Mr. Bob.
39% when it starts.
There is Mr. Bob. You do be
Never mind.
Nano over the shield. A couple of spears.
46 when it ends. That's not a good Nano to me. It was good to stabilize the situation, but so was Sleep Dart. So was Nade to keep Hawk alive.
Pulse bomb kill. He's 1 HP.
And now, because we didn't find enough with our Nano, nah, we're not going to equalize. Never mind. It's fine. Fixa had an opportunity to Nano to try and push back in after Hawk's Nano expired, but they didn't opt for it.
He's not on the flank anymore. He's in spawn.
And yeah, I don't think Atlanta should have won that fight either. I think they mismanaged ult economy. But I also think Philly just has no idea what they're doing half the time. They just commit sometimes, and when it works out, they win, and when it doesn't, they don't. I think that's very symptomatic of them being most comfortable on the Balls End composition, who act very independently and don't focus on a lot of macro fundamentals to be good at that composition. This comp, the Sigma comp on a tighter map, definitely relies more on macro fundamentals, relies more on like that ebb and flow, that give and take, and a lot more on ultimate economy as well.
Arrows. The one-shot potential is permanently there rather than being
Ooh, Venom not quite finding that one. MN3 with the first pick this time, with the nano boost on himself. Will help stabilize, but we're already on third point with almost 3 minutes on the clock, so Atlanta's pretty comfy with
I
this.
was good for the Fusion to use their ult there.
Oh, co-stream occurring in 30 minutes. Well, technically the games don't start until 30 minutes after that, so we should be good to finish this series before the real meat of the stream starts, the actual games. I am not going to be co-streaming the games today, by the way. I am already disappointed in all of these teams competing today. Just kidding. But I'm getting tired losing my voice kind of thing. Won't be able to keep this up forever, so we're probably not going to co-stream today. Not really into co-streaming anyway. It's annoying that we can't show the broadcast unless we are official co-stream partners, only sometimes. which I never understood, but it's whatever. Venom swapping onto Genji here for third point, opting for more verticality and all-in potential. Zest doing the same thing. MN3 doing a bit of hero roulette himself at this point, swapping onto the Sojourn really late. I'm surprised that we're even seeing it at this point. But I think it is the best pick for the comp, so it's just weird that they opt to stay on Ashe for so long.
That was their one big tool to stop the rain from doing anything. They knew OG used his transcendence like 1.5.
Bellis Rhea not being in the fight means I would like to see... Yeah, I don't think you extend like this. I think once you get Bellis Rhea out of the picture, I think you like literally all in here. And I think Atlanta range should be good at all-inning. So you do one of two things. You all in here, or you try and flip the map over here. And you try and take like dark. I think it's too long of a sideline to try and go this way. And this is where most of the damage is expected. There's one person over here. It's MN3. Is that a Sojourn shot from coming from over there? Yeah, it's MN3 over there. So what you would do, even though it feels bad, is you would use your Sigma cooldowns to rotate here aggressively. Maybe even your Sojourn could go up here or go all in this way with a Discord on the enemy Sojourn to try and get that all in potential, knowing that your front line is pushing this way. But basically, you don't want people to surround you. You don't want people to get behind you. So you do that by denying these forward threats and then moving your vulnerable threats forward, your Ultraviolet, your OG, your Kai, and making sure that they can find equal value with the people back here without being exposed to flankers back here. The only other way of doing that would be to roll it slow because you just broke their front line by killing Bellis Rhea, play to mark one side with damage, mark the other side with shield, and then have an additional threat mark flankers here, which you could technically do with OG's Zen now that he's a brawler, now that he can kick people away, but you'd rather have something like a Brig for that, or maybe even like a Tracer to control the map over here kind of thing, or like a backlane DPS like a Cassidy or a Reaper or whatever marks enemy DPS well in the context. But I think stagnating like this is illegal, and you can never do this. If you're opting to everyone turn on the Zest, then Hawk needs to fall back. And, I mean, Ultraviolet outplayed himself, unfortunately. But yeah, I don't think you ever stretch yourself that thin. You either deal with one or deal with the other. It's a good stall. Minute left on the clock, though. Still plenty of time for Atlanta. Both Sojourn ultimates available. OG closer to Trance, which is really good for Atlanta, as well as Dragonblade, so they can have a lot of extendability in this team fight. Starting things off with Kai's ultimate most likely, leading into Trance, leading into potentially even Nanoblade if Ultraviolet builds it. Who needs Nanoblade when you can just diff the enemy Genji? Nano Sojo does find Venom. There will be no blade today, sir. Yeah, it's pretty good when you can one-shot someone through Trance, huh? Who would have thought? Who would have thought one-shots are pretty strong in a game of Overwatch? Bellis Rhea overtime swapping onto the Doomfist earlier, by the way. I think it's fine. I think it's actually better now that it's closer to the spawn, because there's more opportunities to hit backline knowing that Atlanta has to extend pretty far. Playing more for Zest now as the carry, more so than MN3, I would say. Interesting. Just making sure he gets the touch there. Oh, but he gets kicked off the map. Goodbye, Hawk, and that's going to be round one. Alright, not bad from Philly, but really awful first and second points, I'm going to be honest. So I'm not expecting too much from their offense here. That being said, though, Atlanta love ignoring potential advantages and opting for faster team fights, which could bite them in the ass on defense. If they commit too early, too heavily, and they don't come out ahead in whatever fight that is, even if they come out evenly and they trade kills, it will always favor the attackers, at least on first point. Changes as second point develops, obviously. But we'll see how Atlanta's hold compares. This was, again, Philly's map choice, so Philly should have some set strats here to take space. Oh, no, he recalled.
So he must have... Wow, how did aim go?
So, what happened here? I don't think he blinked, actually. I think he just walked off. Let's see. So he recalled right here. Yeah, he just walked off, and then the game knows he's already dead, so him blinking here doesn't count as a movement ability to save himself. So, the way this is programmed, and this isn't even true of only Zen's melee, because all melee is technically knockback a little bit, Zen's a little bit more than most. But the kick came through. Recall doesn't count as a movement ability to save yourself from environmental kills, unless obviously the environmental kill doesn't come out. But like if you're off the map and you get kicked or you get booped and then you recall and you're still off the map, that counts as an environmental kill for Zen. How much ult charge did he get from that, by the way? He's at 62.
So he must have... Wow, how did...
Yeah, he got 6% ult charge off that, 7%. Not bad. So the recall happens. It counts as that was the last mobility thing used on the Tracer before Tracer was counted as falling off the map. The blink doesn't help you at that point, so it still counts as Aim God booping Venom off the map, even though that's clearly not what happened. Crazy. What a way to get some extra ult charge.
Must have meleeed him to
I
down
I hate the kick, dude. I think it's cute, but it's so like out of character for Zen, isn't it? Like this hyper violent kick to the face that's a movement that's like a CC ability on what's supposed to be like this Zen, literally Zen monk character who's also functioned traditionally as a glass cannon as the heaviest damage dealer, now getting bonus H. It's just so not what I want Zen to be. Anyway, Philly opting for the Sigma again on attack here, and Zest on, so they're on kind of a double sniper. We're basically playing Circuit Royale now, which means we're looking for picks. But because this isn't as linear as a map as, I keep wanting to call it Monte Carlo, but since this isn't as linear as a map as Circuit Royale, it's not just one direction that we have to shoot our bullets in. We're looking for flank angles, we're looking for map control. Belisray is touching the point for no reason. Once again, I would love to see him forcing positions over here, denying this angle from follow-up. Otherwise, Kai, Venom, Ultraviolet, OG, whoever decides to use the space is free to do so. But it does mean a Tracer gets more value here as well, rather than running double sniper, because Tracer can help mark flanks like this. All you have to do is understand where the majority threat is. In this case, we see both DPS over here. We see Belisray on the high ground, or sorry, on the low ground, not contesting the high ground, which means our flexible threat, our main defensive tools, and our majority pressure, so Hawk and Kai and our backline should be looking at the majority commitment of their threat, while our flexible threat works the map outside and finds a more creative angle to surround the majority threat. That's what on paper makes this composition better than this composition on a map type like this. You don't have those options in Circuit Royale because it is such a closed linear map. But let's see if Venom finds enough to warrant this Tracer pick. I don't think Sigma's your ideal target, but that's okay. We got out alive. Atlanta are forced like completely back here, but yeah, like you see the Zen working up here because Belisray is not doing anything to contest this. This is 100% free. So they just wrap their threat around here. They don't even need to mark this threat because they're not the ones contesting payload, and they had Tracer to bully Belisray back a little bit at least. And this is just such better uptime for Atlanta's backline compared to the double sniper from Philly. And then Venom finds a kill, Kai finds a kill. Belisray literally just don't touch the point. Just do anything more valuable for your DPS and you can win this point. But you can't just like ignore the angles your DPS are trying to take and then also contest the objective. Zest now on the Genji, now on Belisray's Winston. So they're going to dive more all in. They don't want to let Kai farm on the shield, but it doesn't matter at this point. He's closer. He's 50% to his ultimate and Venom has Pulse Bomb, so if they wanted to play a slower game, they ran out of time to do so. They're already almost 2 minutes into their attack as well. Monkey soft diving. Take a goddamn angle. You're playing ranged characters, right? Go take an angle. Why are 3 of you sitting on statue while our monkey's soft diving here? You're asking to be picked apart by Tracer, and then you're asking to just like, as soon as this monkey's kicked off, like, all this monkey's doing is buying time for this space to no longer matter, or for this space to be advantageous for you. You can spend that time trying to Hail Mary a nade or a disruptor shot or a right click into this and maybe finding a kill, but guess who's here denying all of that? Or you could spend that time creating an opportunity from a better angle that creates a deeper engage opportunity later on in the fight. This is like dive piggybacks, like, not piggybacks, leapfrogs 101. It's like these guys have never played double bubble before. Because the problem with this is like your monkey player and your Genji player are going to be stuck in purgatory because there's nothing telling them they can go deeper than this. There's this angle, I guess, which can crossfire over here, but that gets shut down by Tracer. And look at this conga line. They're not even threatening the same things together, even though they're all positioned. Like, this is what shocked us better than anyone else, apparently. I didn't think this would be what we're talking about today, but like, how is your backline this separated? How are you playing for such different opportunities all the time if you're Philly? This is not the composition that does that. This is not the ball Zen comp that works entirely independently. And Bellis Reyes dying alone on an island. Zest is now dashing into second point, chasing a Tracer as Genji. Well, he finds the kill, I guess. He shouldn't have, but he did. I guess Venom didn't have recall. Okay, so all the advantages you just created your team by finding a unique angle onto second point and by finding a kill for a late spawn and an opportunity to close the distance from behind instead of in front, you just throw out the damn window by walking in front of everyone and then wall climbing into a headshot? What are you doing? Either dash out, rejoin your team, take the 5v4, or stay relevant behind here to deny the Tracer coming back or hit a unique angle from behind them. I don't understand.
To the top of the dome. That's what it was. It just, as soon as he was climbing up the wall, it's like, I don't think so. That definitely buys some time.
All right, Bellis Reyes is going to continue to live out his sentence in purgatory and consistently fight for frontline versus a Sigma where he will never win. All right, so this is the closest thing to a double angle we've ever seen, except Winston's trying to go deeper with Genji, and MN3 is not quite caught up and still dealing with a Sigma. But he does find Tracer during his ult. No, that wasn't even ult. That was just a charged railgun. Okay. I'm not sure where the Tracer died. But yeah, like, I don't know how Tracer died here. Maybe they were like baiting this engage and then doubling back for these positions. But like, how did we end up in such passive positions after Monkey dived here and Sojourn was on this angle? I don't know. Must have been planning for the counter engage on Tracer. Maybe. I'm like thinking that's such an optimistic assumption though, because look at how disconnected Philly's playing otherwise. I don't think they would think that deep macro wise. And yeah, like all the space that they take by using cooldowns, by finding picks, is instantly given back up because they have no sense of like snowballing position. They get a tick, I guess. I guess they're happy with that with 46 seconds left on the clock. Coming up on Nanoblade as well if Zest can build it. Oh no, he's not gonna get nanoed. He got kicked. But again, like, why are you solo going in as, like, even if you have Nanoblade here, like, you know they have Trance, right? Even if you have Nanoblade ready right now, why are you dashing in first a full second before your monkey's even landing? And then instantly getting booped out of position to avoid the nano. Like, if you're going to go for this play, Fix is obviously looking to nano this Genji right now, right? And maybe they're hoping the nano alone will force OG's trance. But I'm not even convinced that would happen at this point. And then they'd be able to snowball past trance with either the MN3's ultimate, the overclock, or the Genji Blade from Zest. But like, you're committing so early onto two people as a solo Genji using your dash to close the distance, not even to do damage. And it's like a full second before your monkey joins and you're dead before the bubble even goes up. It's like, it's basics, right? It's just timing. And they're just not thinking about it. They're thinking very individually. And they're forcing so many disadvantageous opportunities. Venom just needs to press a button on his keyboard there and he lives. I'm not sure what happened. Now they got Nanoblade. Okay. No! It can't keep happening. Like, just... Okay, Philly. Here's what you gotta do, right? When you're in a situation, even if it's overtime, even if there's 10 seconds on the clock, right? You gotta breathe. You gotta breathe for just a second. You've got almost every ultimate on board. You've got like all the tools you need. And how are we using them? We're jumping thin air to scout information that we can tell is already, like, we know the Zen's over here because we see him shooting. And we also could use that information from the crossfire angle from our Sojourn if we're talking to each other. But like, we have time to set up. We have time to line up our cooldowns for our nano play. We have time to dive the targets we want to engage on. We have time to just not take a ranged duel into a shield before this fight starts? Like, why are you here instead of like back at the mini? You know, you have no fall off range, so just like outrange the Sigma.
Even try a two-pronged attack with just the nano.
No, Fix is pissed. I would be pissed. And then, like, now the monkey's jumping in. Everyone and their mother is playing catch-up right now. Zest is touching the objective, guaranteeing that he'll never find a good nano blade angle. Never mind, there's no more nano. Guaranteeing that he'll find a blade angle. M3's dead before he can get tranced because no one's in position to do anything. And now OG's trance is going to probably kill Bellis Rhea if they just walk at him. Okay, never mind. He falls back to point. Okay, there goes the dash and reflect, and Zest is dead, and now Bellis Reyes is dead. Okay, never mind. The trance saves him. Let's go. Oh, wait, no, he's still dead. What are you doing, Philly? Oh my goodness. The collat from M3 means absolutely nothing because Philly can't get on the same page. That was embarrassing. That was absolutely some of the worst team play I've ever seen on their own map pick.
Oh my god. Like MN3
when they had like 5 ults. Just take a breath, take a step back, ask yourself like, okay guys, what do we want to do this fight? Do we want to go like solo feed and take 5 1v1s and hope for the best and miss all our ultimates? Or do we want to like, you know, play Overwatch? What do you guys think?
It is theirs.
It's open for discussion. That was terrible. That was really, really bad Overwatch that Philly just played. And kudos for Atlanta Reign for not letting them get away with it, I guess. But also, like, a bunch of very avoidable mistakes from Atlanta Reign. Venom, unfortunately, I think also showing a few rookie mistakes of just, like, dying unnecessarily in a few situations, misreading tempo once or twice. But really, like, no one on Atlanta is playing as egregiously solo-oriented as Philly is. I think this is the only composition that Philly can play, which, if is true, why the hell would you pick King's Row? Like, if you want to play this comp, and you want to play like everyone's on the island and everyone's just doing their own thing, go for it. But you don't pick King's Row to do that. That'd be like picking Circuit Royale and trying to force that same playstyle. They know this is how they play. They know this is how they want to play. Why the hell would you pick King's Row? Like, even Midtown would be like a better, but like Eichenwald exists, you know, we just saw it on the other match. Like, just play better maps for your style if you're gonna hard focus that style and you don't know how to do anything else. That was, I don't know, man. I'm not happy with that one from Philly. Atlanta opting for something very similar is what we just saw. On the attack here. This is a bit of a hard map for Venom to get into, especially versus a dive comp. Lots of opportunities for him to be marked. Ooh, that's a big dynamite. There you go. Wait, that was Kai killing M3. Never mind. But that was like really good synergy. That was, unironically, this interaction, this dynamite dive from Fusion, this is the most synergy we've seen from Philly this whole series so far on map 3. Slam, Tracer dive, dynamite. Gorgeous. There's probably also like a Zen right click coming through or something. Maybe it's getting shielded. Unfortunately, defensive cooldowns exist and they only get 1, and it's traded out immediately because Kai is shooting logs across the server. Still though, that is a bright spot for Philly. A spot where they commit 3 members and they trade evenly. That's a bright spot for Philly. They know how to play as a team of 6-on-6, but no one knows how to play 5-on-5. You're not wrong. The whole league this year has looked a little bit, ooh, very close there. MN3 now on the Sojourn. Because I'm guessing they see the Sigma, they know they can farm the railgun, so they pick the railgun.
Trying to weave his way towards Ultraviolet, but ends up getting taken down by Hawk. Fusion just crumpling on first point. They do find the kill to Kind Ultraviolet. Of course, it was MN.
Good equalization. I was skeptical when I saw Zest going up there by himself. They might, yeah, they should be able to actually hold this. The longer Sigma stays here, the worse it is for him. Hawk. Oh, and yeah, okay, wait. Yeah, especially if he gets pulse bombed and dies. So we're good recontest. Again, like I said, this composition that Philly's running is really good for trades. I was really worried that Zest got so aggro solo. Like, you can get aggro solo, obviously, but you need to be able to live. If you're going aggro solo and dying, it doesn't help your team do anything unless you're Bellis Rhea and you have a tank HP pool. It's not enough time
Rhea gets a little bit
But
closer
Bellis Rhea
to work
helping
with
even it
as
out.
the wrecking ball, but maybe you're able to knock the
Not bad so far.
backwards in
Finally looking like a team on their map pick.
so that you can get a big pick
Oh my
with
god.
three.
Kai is hunting for
They're
heads.
on the right track here.
And he's dead.
Sucks for Kai. He already used his dash.
Unfortunate lamp positioning there. Ultraviolet wanted to go forward. Kai wanted to go backwards. Little bit of a disconnect there. It happens, but obviously it's something you should be ready for as a sniper comp versus a dive comp.
Well, now we're getting up to the point where
No
we
excuses there, but I've seen it happen so many times. It's just
Ultraviolet's
no
able to
contingency
use the
plan.
Matrix maybe to be able to
Weren't
push it
talking
to
about
the
it beforehand
back.
happened,
Just
so
going so
react
far
differently.
forward that if Rain decide to pop it at this first corner, the Fusion just get to go ahead and back up from all of that.
I like this
space.
positioning a lot from Fusion as well. They want to get as much neutral pressure off as possible before Kai, Ultraviolet, and OG become relevant. So that's why Ball is positioned so aggressively. That's why Tracer's trying to poke him out. Trying to make him uncomfortable, trying to make him burn resources before they get into more relevant positions like this. This is a beautiful spot from Bellis Rhea.
I mean, disrupting the high ground.
Completely disrupting the initial burst of that Baptiste window. Zest should be dead there.
Cooking, don't know. Not sure who it ended up
Or maybe not. Venom pulled away.
to keep them in the fight.
MN3 looking for something, but not finding the heads.
They might have to use the transcendence to keep them in.
I've noticed MN3 plays a really passive Sojourn. Plays it a lot more like a sniper than an aggressive flanker like we've seen in NA most of the time. Which, if that's the case, why not just like put him on Widow or Hanzo?
To go for the rain. And they're
I guess the answer is they put him on Ashe for that reason, because he wants to play more passively, and Sojourn wants to play more aggressively sometimes to get those all-in potentials, but too much of an advantage against the Sigma, maybe? I'm not sure.
And they are going to have to try to get back as quickly as possible. Rain
And
has
Philly
to
are going to end up
dire
full holding
spots
here.
as we've got 15 seconds
There's no ultimates on the board for Atlanta. Hawk on the Diva for reasons. They're probably just trying to set Kai up and give Kai a potential to find headshots like he has been past couple rounds. I think the Diva is good for the point touch, obviously, but other than that, like, Sigma's just better across the board for this comp, I would say.
isolate OG. He's in a whole lot of trouble.
I say that, but, like, I don't know. I don't usually question my take on the game, even when watching Overwatch League. But seeing Kaluge and the Shock find moderate success and prioritize the Diva picks so heavily kind of makes me think twice about how good Diva is.
Not a crazy amount of bursting from the fusion. So
But yeah, I think she's mainly just used as a cart bot, which sucks, but she's probably better at than anyone else.
sticking it to the
Because she can still leave the cart very effectively and come back to it. She can extend her resources beyond her current position very effectively. And this is not going to be a full hold, it turns out. Despite having no ultimates and a late swap to Diva,
and he is out of here.
Atlanta capped the point.
Terrain to
Alright,
find that first point.
we got a game. We got a map.
Such a great defense from the Fusion, though. It looks like they've finally.
They
woken
threw it
up
away,
a little
though.
bit, and maybe now that they have whittled away the time bank.
It's really just, I don't think MN3 is getting enough value from the Sojourn. Which is crazy, because he's such an insane hit scan player. He's one of those players I would expect to, like, pop off consistently on Sojourn, kind of similarly to Kai, actually. Diva now, I think, is actually going to be better on second point now. Again, I like Diva more as a counter to Dive. If they were playing like a Sigma comp themselves, I think Diva would be very, very bad. But this seems okay. And because of the verticality here, I think Diva's fine. I think Sigma would also be really, really good because you'd be able to walk up this left side with Kai and kind of just like command that space. And Kai wouldn't die like that. Maybe. Where even is Hawk? Is he Hawk just like permanently on the payload? There he is. Oh my god, OG avoided getting scalped there. This is chaos, dude. I don't know what's happening. This is really good for Fusion's comp. I think Atlanta needs to get off the Diva. I think it's disconnecting them too much. Kai's working too independently. OG and Ultraviolet working too independently. Venom trying to get more aggressive than usual. They either need to swap the pick or play like really safe angles, like go top cave or something, and play to just counter dive Bellis Rhea with the Diva, and then collapse onto the payload. I think Venom and Hawk just need to rein it in. Rein it in, XD. And then you just play for OG and Kai. Even though they've got a harder engage with the Wrecking Ball, I think Diva's fine at disrupting Wrecking Ball approaches. Boop him out of the air. Matrix after slam. Let OG snipe someone across the map, why not? Hawk is permanent payload bot once again. Yeah.
With MN3 popping
I really don't like the split setup from Atlanta. Like, they're going in here, and we hear, like, there's people over here, there's people over here, there's a diva on point. Like, that's not traditionally what you want to do into a comp like this unless you're matching it. And I don't think diva has the same priority as Wrecking Ball at all.
pay for it though. With MN3 popping out.
And especially when you have advantage by finding the first pick there, I think you just collapse onto either Zen or Sojourn's position, and you snowball from there.
They have rally, they have the and the mind. MN3 doesn't
Denied.
down, though. Didn't expect Hawk to be up in the rafters like that. I missed post one from Hawk, but the backline from the Fusion forced to pop.
Yeah, I don't think Venom needs to get that aggressive.
The Atlanta Reign have the high ground and control of the point, but Vix is just running in
Ooh.
there, just steamrolling over the Atlanta
This should be another hold from Fusion, but they proved me wrong before, so we'll wait and see.
Reinforcements are arriving for the Fusion. MN3
Bomb available for Hawk. How's he going to use it? He's going to just fly up into the air. No, he's going to save it for a remake. Okay, he leaves it on cart.
Reign alive, but
I don't know why he didn't just, like...
permanently
I think best bomb would have been, like, right here. Landing, deny this, deny follow-up onto your Zen, who I think is back there. Oh, no, you don't have a Zen anymore. My bad.
smacking Hawk around. MN3's here, kills off the enemy Sojourn, and the Fusion are going to hold just before the second.
All right, good hold. Should have been hold on first point, but I think if you're Fusion, you take that. Composition makes a lot more sense on second point, Fusion's does. So I'm more worried about how they're going to attack first. I think a traditional way of attacking with Ball Tracer Zen would be to get your Ball Tracer onto second point and then approach the high ground from behind. But if Atlanta just play Brig, which they're opting not to, I'm a little bit surprised they're not playing, excuse me, either Brig or Diva.
It's not, yeah, it's something that I do think
I think Diva would be fine at contesting ranges.
That is the offense, right?
Obviously not as strong as Sigma for staying power, but I think better at dealing with Wrecking Ball in particular.
Oh,
Tragedy.
Yeah, poor Venom.
That's
Outplayed.
but they're like, oh no, it's good. But
All
then
right.
you go to the offense and you start sweating as you see the time go.
Let's see it, Philly.
We need to cap second. We need to cap.
Yep.
Let's see your map win.
Right. They cannot lose this map, or they will go home and be the third team to fall to the Atlanta Reign in the lower bracket. Definitely don't want that, but here's where the comeback starts. Philly Fusion, come on, Copium.
Copium.
Both.
Yeah, you want to get past them, get to second point, set up a roll-up behind you. I think you normally send Tracer with you to help mark the enemy Tracer and to help obviously have more kill power when Tracer's on the high ground with you. No way!
Or the
Where? Explain. Atlanta, explain. Explain this position to me, please. If... Okay, one, you knew Wrecking Ball was coming from behind. When coming from behind, you have literally two options. You can come underneath here, but you get literally nothing unless the payload's right here. Or you can go high ground up here to disrupt wood, or you can go high ground up here to disrupt this literal position from Zen, but also the gas station eventually. You don't want to play too close here, I guess, because of the Tracer threat, but you don't want to play too far back either because of the Wrecking Ball threat. But out of all that especially, you don't want to play out of range of your Ana. Technically, she has a sight line here, but actually she doesn't when you walk behind this rock. This is... Like, if you just play here, knowing that your team is getting aggressive right now, knowing like Hawk is over here as the Sigma, this is where your Ana is, I can't understand that position. And he also doesn't hit the kick. Shame. Bellisrea does trade out for it, but that's absolutely fine for Bellisrea and Fusion. Yeah, I don't know. If you know your team's playing wood over there, and your Sigma's going aggressive through top cave, I think you just move up gas station, bro.
But boy, Ultraviolet's been putting in some work in this front line, though. Almost has Nano already.
But Atlanta do not care, apparently. They're holding close still. Venom's finding aggression, but Brig exists. Zen has 225 HP. Nano into Hawk again, I'm not a big fan of. Look, like he's just got nothing. Venom goes down. Was that a defensive Nano? He's discorded. And yeah, it was a defensive Nano, I guess. Just don't see the context because we're showing up late to his POV. That's okay. But yeah, defensive nano makes sense,
survive the engagement.
but obviously not a strong tempo play.
Little 1v1. But
When
now
it comes
Fusion
down to
in
it.
an awkward situation where their supports can't bring it through with the fear of getting anti-nated. Speaking of which, Kai and OG
Kai is
take
just
care
a
of it
better
by
Sojourn.
assist. The Philadelphia Fusion
Lines the pick.
offense here. They're gonna have a tough
This is a rough spot for Atlanta, running out of space to kite to. This should be first point for Philly.
Thank God. He's been doing absolute
Hawk has his flux, which it looks like he wants to use.
Hawk's gonna be here to contest for the time being, but
No, he's not.
bowled away by Bellis Rhea.
No reason to flux if he knows it's not going to get anything.
Of course.
At best, he would like get trance out.
So much time
More
to
likely,
forward
though, you would
advance
just
to
die.
basically just get the second point. And they've got ultimates to spare.
Man,
Right now,
MN3
Bellis Rhea just
has
gonna
been
go
dying
full
on
flame.
cooldown. Maybe just leave this guy on Ash.
Atlanta Reign, but
I don't think he's comfortable on Sojourn yet.
earned the transcendence, outpacing OG. Looking good right now for the Fusion to get them over the finish line and into a fourth map of this series.
Watching two Tracers duel as they get
Very fun.
No, you'll get a one clip one day. Probably not soon.
One day.
You've both got orbs.
Nano.
Try again.
Like you're so-
Yeah,
Oh, I don't think he meant to slam there.
Flux.
It's okay. Goodbye, MN3, once again.
No saving him from that. You don't want to put the transcendence for one person.
I think the biggest thing I'm seeing from MN3 is he doesn't know when to commit his shift aggressively,
Atlanta Reign.
which is causing him to miss opportunities mid-fight, but also when he does go in, and he goes in too early, like right there, it's getting him punished by either resources he's not accounting for or expecting more staying power from his front line, which in a ball tracer matchup, not really going to happen.
Philadelphia Fusion got applied on the
Bellis Rhea is
Valley. The Atlanta Reign now
doing his best up there. He kills Kai. Are you shitting me, Kai? You died in this?
bit of defense. They just got to
This is how Kai dies?
In fact, Philadelphia Fusion got applied on the pressure. They can use that rally.
Oh, wait, that might be one of the stupidest things I've ever seen. Look at this range.
Applied on the pressure.
That scoops him in?
They can use
Unless he's... Oh, wait, no. That's not what's happening. This is an enemy Sojourn over here off screen using their ultimate that Kai doesn't want to LOS. But, like, the answer here is literally just, like, go that way? Even go this way, maybe. I don't know.
use that rally.
That's a tragedy, though. That's just unlucky positioning for Kai, I guess.
Forced to use the transcendence.
Which...
This is not
I mean, you don't usually position up there unless your team is ready to go aggressive somewhere. Hawk was coming from a spawn, which kind of clearly indicates you're not able to go aggressive. I'm guessing he was trying to hold that position to try and equalize because they know the point cap is so close. So they wanted to be able to equalize while Hawk's coming back.
sorry situation.
But it's not going to happen, and that's going to be the map.
Maybe starting now. Bellis Rhea kills Kai.
All right, that map barely even happened. I was still not very impressed with Philly's defense, despite how close it was and how much they could have held even further up. A lot of this came down to them being able to play the map, and I think this is such a defense-favored map, and it favors their playstyle in their like hyper-aggression and like trading playstyle. I think Hawk on the Diva made sense when he pulled it out, but didn't really do much overall. I think this was mainly just like Philly having a better defense. More than anything. Atlanta giving up first point to that Zen pick when ball was rolling up behind them. That was pretty bad. I don't know. I hate Route 66. Maybe Atlanta just never had a lot of practice or a lot of success with it. Don't know. But it's been a very one-sided affair. Besides that map just looked very chaotic from both sides. Both teams, or both matches I should say, going to Coliseo over New Queen Street. So Atlanta favoring this map makes sense to me because they like to play the Doomfist here.
But also, you just their stomping grounds.
It's also probably a worse ball map. MN3, okay, no, there's no way he's played the Pharah, right? More Ash, though, let's go. Will he keep it this time? Ultraviolet on the Ana as well. So, no Zen. Hey, look at these teams. Maybe this is a counter Wrecking Ball thing, because you don't want Wrecking Ball out of all characters that could be in your backline. Wrecking Ball's up there as one of the most annoying, alongside like Doomfist and Tracer, actually, but also is the fastest person to get there, so they have the whole team roll it this way to deny that enemy roll it. That might be what Shock was doing, or was it Shock, or what Glads was doing in the previous series we watched. I'm not sure there. But yeah, they're creating this angle. They're taking all of the enemy side of the map here. I think I'd rather see Venom stay on the ground and Kaifer go for this position, personally, but it doesn't matter too much. They're going all the way around. Good read by Valsrea, and huge slam to deny their approach. But Aim God still dies. This slam... Okay, like... How soon does the call need to come before we're, like, already over here? Like, are we fighting here, or are we fighting, like, here? Realistically. Atlanta's not going to let you fight here. Look at the mobility on their team, right? Like, they might hit a road bump here. They might get slowed down here. This is not the fight zone, though. Why are we taking this wide angle, and why are we so split from our brig to the point that we're getting dove before we can get reinforced by our brig? After Wrecking Ball hits the slam of his life and Tracer burns recall trying to slow this engage, how is your Zen still overexposed? That can't happen. Also, where was MN3 that whole time? I don't see him. That's a dynamite? Question mark? That's Brig Zen. Where's MN3? MN3's all the way over there? He's all the way over here? Was he like in the middle mega area? Was he trying to flip the map? Play with your backline!
Both supports from the rain, cleaning up the supports from the fusion. That was a very, very decisive fight. I mean,
They just had no adaptation to where Atlanta rolled out. They just had no idea what to do. Literally like head empty, no thoughts. Like, what sucks there is like Bellis Rhea did everything right, and his backline still got fucking obliterated.
Try to stick with it and see if they can make something work. This bridge can be a very powerful defensible position, and if you're able to start working up to some ultimates, then that might
That is not a good look for first fight here. For Philly,
Rain are up front, they get aggressive, and Zest has to find something with this pulse bomb.
nice decent start from the rain. Pulse bomb, launch
oh my
out.
god, Zest is playing at 5 million DPI right now, trying to see into the future.
Go down.
Couple kills, couple big kills. There's the MN3 we know and love. Cleaning that one up. Shouldn't get advantage here, but should get about equal payload progress. These pushes don't really matter yet, though. It's where you start breaking the spawn camp. Not spawn camp, the spawn advantage. And that sort of high ground that the push actually starts mattering. Where people start actually holding. I say that, though. Atlanta's contesting the card here, but they're just waiting for MN3 before they round this corner. But that's giving time for Ultraviolet and Hawk to build their ultimates, which they might just go in knowing the ball's behind them. They could just go all in here, Nano Doom onto the Zen, and then just commit like Ultraviolet to saving Sleep Dart for the ball. Or he's dead. Okay, but there's the Nano onto Hawk. I think it came just a slightly little bit too late. I think they needed to recognize that Bellis Rhea was set up far behind them sooner, and either act before he can roll out, or act with intention of denying his rollout. Which they can do with speed and because they had ultimates available, but they just took a little bit too long doing it. Even if it feels like too far to cover that distance, I think you needed to Nano Hawk onto that Briggs Zen a lot sooner, and even like go all in with Ultraviolet and Kai. But again, with Ultraviolet kind of marking the back end, playing choke points to try and sleep the ball. Just shoot him! He didn't know he was low. Okay. That was horrible. But that was the most intense, stressful, missed pulse bomb I've ever seen. That's like such a confidence killer too. You see 3 people not looking at you in front of you within perfect blink distance and you miss a pulse bomb. Still got the kill, but still. Ooh, still not quite. Oh, OG tried too hard to touch though. Alright, objective progress. Philly is technically in the lead. 6 minutes still on the clock though, so anybody's game. Still too early to tell. Until it like passes under this bridge, it's still anybody's game. And then, if you watch the shot game, it's still anybody's game, even when it's at your spawn door. Oh, why are you alone, Kai? Okay, you're in LOS at least. Yeah, typically you never want to be on an aggressive angle like that as Sojourn unless you know you're about to create an advantage or you're about to follow up an advantage. So unless he had his railgun charged and he was looking for a shot, I don't think he needs to be up there that aggressively. Not without support. But he was an LOS of Ultraviolet, so it was fine. Zest didn't find the kill. That's all that matters.
You look at that, the late stagger onto Ultraviolet as well.
Yeah, late kills, so Venom is getting a bit of progress, but it's not going to really matter. At most, so this is the rollout that I think they were trying to get first fight, and the goal for this is to try and lock them into a stalemate here with Zen, Brig, Tracer, and Ash pressure from main, while Bellis Rayo creates an opening that's probably comboed with Dynamite, Tracer follow-up, Discord, whatever else, at this point maybe even ultimates, and finds an early aggressive pick that lets them snowball forward and keeps Zen and Ash comfy for longer. The problem is if Bellis Rayo takes too long finding the setup or doesn't find the rollout he wants and like gets slept, or the person he rolls out like doesn't die or like gets nanoed or something, or only rolls out and hits Hawk or something like that, then they quickly kind of crumble because they don't really have a traditional front line. And if Hawk finds value during any of that timing, either before they set up or after a miss setup, then Atlanta's composition has more engage potential, has more burst damage as well to roll out. And in order for Zen and Ash to be relevant for that follow-up, they want to be positioned aggressively, which might put them in range of Hawk. So yeah, here's the rollout potential. Atlanta should be aware of this by now. He's trying to bait the sleep dart, I believe. But he's just backing off at this point. Zest dying on payload. So I'm guessing what happened was when Bellis Rayo didn't hit his rollout, they called a full back off, which caused Bellis Rayo to go all the way back to his spawn around the map and caused all of Fusion to back up, but MN3 still died throughout that nano. And the pulse would not pulse, and the trance was used, and now Fix is going down. Like, Philly just needed to commit there. I think that was like really passive play that's taking way too long. Like, it's fine to play passive if like you've got no other options, but when you spend like 30 seconds setting up a play and then don't end up making the play and don't end up trading any value, or end up trading negatively in terms of value, it's not an ideal situation. Atlanta again now with the lead objective-wise, but they should win this fight and begin pushing in their direction again. I say should, but people are dying. Okay, we're good.
Yeah, Fusion will be able to get the bot control back in their favor.
All right, beat, pulse bomb, almost nano, almost doom ult. Do you know why Carpe is not playing? I have no idea, but I am also a big fan of MN3 and Zest both. I think they're both more than capable in the DPS role. They both really impressed me. My problem with all of Philly right now isn't in their like individual players, but like their inability to play as a team when it matters. Like, that's the rollout you were setting up for, and there's no follow-up. And your rally. So like the beat happens, which prompts the rally, but then the slam slows the beat aggression, and then the boop through is at the tail end of their beat. He just booped like everyone into the map. Like, you need to be going aggressive right now, and specifically Fixa, MN3, Zest need to be more relevant. Aim God is always going to be in the back, but Zest should be like blinking past Wrecking Ball right now and trying to burn Ultraviolet, while MN3 and Fixa start like brawling onto the Doomfist and then trying to shoot past him. Okay, there's Zest going in, but like there's no follow-up, and then they have time to stabilize, get their own nano off. Aim God will clean up though. It's finally happening for Philly. Okay. That was an eager nano boost, I will say, onto Hawk. It's not a very long window you create with nano boost, so if you're not finding instant value with it, because they were both trying to stabilize and go aggressive with the nano boost, which is ideal, but if it doesn't land, it can quickly fall apart. Oh my god. Okay, Kai kills everyone. The video game. I think Philly were planning on just full resetting there, but I don't know why you would do that instead of like trying to fight close and trying to hope for a snowball, especially with their composition. Aim God with the trance, Kai with the overclock. How will they find their way into this one? Bellis Rhea going deep, getting slept. Zest is also trying to stay relevant during all of this, but Atlanta... Okay, they do lose OG early on, which means no beat building this fight. Kai committing the ultimate, looking for something. Can't get around the corner, though, without Hawk around. Hawk's going in now. Okay, does find MN3, but Hawk's going to die for it. Okay. Yeah, a little bit of desync issues there from Atlanta as well. The time when Kai was most relevant was when OG was dead and Hawk was forced out. I think traditionally I would put that, like, quote-unquote blame more on Kai for pulling the ultimate without knowing that available resources were also there to collapse. But such a chaotic situation. I'm guessing at this point into the game as well, comms are probably very chaotic. So understandable that those things slip up. It's just unfortunate. That looked like a Philly level play, what Kai was going for. Do you think Glaz is going to win this match or Underdog's going to fish it over? I'm going to wait to finish this match out to see, because I have been relatively impressed with Atlanta, but they've been kind of losing momentum as the series is going on. They only lost one map, but like they're looking worse in this map on their map pick than they were in the first two maps. Could be the map types. Could be just Route 66 in general, and then push as a map type. That's fair. At least relatively fair. But it's not a good look for them seeing how strong Glads looked on push, on this map in particular, on Colosseo. And again, I think Glads are going to be better in the dive matchup. So I think Atlanta's going to have a really strong matchup into all of the dive variations that Glads can pull out. Close spawn available now for Atlanta, and really strong ultimate economy. Ultimate economy matters more for them. Like I said, their composition relies more on team-wide pressure rather than individual pressure compared to Fusion's. Ooh, Kai not getting the beat. Might not matter. Venom's actually going to go down to the Bob. Hi, Bob.
It's 16 seconds to go, and the Atlanta Reign have a quite
No way.
sizable lead.
Hawk finds another kill. Okay. MN3 coming back on Sojourn? Last... Wait. No shot. This is how they win. Can he touch? It's... He didn't get to proc overtime. Wasn't that 3 seconds? So he fixes touching. Dies at 3.2 seconds. So if you didn't know, if you touch the objective within 3 seconds on the clock before overtime, it will proc overtime. Fixa dies at 3.2 seconds, meaning unless Aim God touches right now, the point will not trigger overtime. That is absurd. Well, I think I'm pretty comfortable saying that Atlanta did not win this series, but Philadelphia Fusion absolutely lost it. There were so many situations I saw that Atlanta just created advantages out of nothing because Philly weren't playing the game, in my eyes, correctly. Obviously, there's no correct version to play the game, and teams are vying for viability in every meta and things like that. But a lot of the decisions Fusion was making compositionally and positionally, how they're playing the maps, where they're playing, what heroes they're playing is what I mean by that, didn't make sense, and especially didn't make sense for the matchup into Rain, in terms of like the compositional matchups, but also like the tempo which Rain plays is like they like to go very all in, and Fusion was just never prepared for it. This was definitely very disappointing, I agree. Philly wasn't confident, in my opinion, which is crazy. I mean, it's not that crazy, but like they used to be one of like the strongest tournament performers last year, right? Like they were one of the almost winning teams all the time, right? They have like the most second place finishes in tournaments than any other team, I think is a stat. But they usually perform really well in tournaments. And obviously this is a new Philly that we're seeing. But in addition to that, like they didn't have to fly to Hawaii like Atlanta did. They didn't have to play 5 feet away from their opponents. Things like that. There's a lot less excuses that I can give Philly for this performance than I could give Atlanta. And Atlanta still looked pretty good. I think this is one of the better looks I've seen from Atlanta recently. They haven't looked as good this split as they have last split, but this was a pretty good showing. Macro-wise, I think they've got their compositions and their strats down. But I don't think fundamentally they're as strong as the Gladiators going into their next match. Let's bring up the tournament bracket. So I'm gonna go ahead and predict this one 3-1 for Glads. Putting Glads here. In which case, another 3-2. Or is this first a 4? Maybe a 4-2 for Shock in the grand finals. That's my prediction after watching these two sets. Glads looked pretty good, but Shock just had better macro fundamentals straight up. Their structure was so good. They denied everything the Shock denied everything the Gladiators tried to get for free, which is what Philly failed to do against Atlanta. But also what Atlanta failed to do is capitalize on a lot of free situations as well. So I'm not convinced Atlanta has the depth that Gladiators have, and I don't think they have the competency on the dive mirrors in particular. I think Glads are going to be a much better dive team, and I think the sort of more unique compositions, like the more Doomfist stuff that Atlanta's pulling out, Gladiators going to be prepared for in their versions of the more modern standard dive with the Wrecking Ball Zen compositions that we're seeing more of.